Hello everyone, welcome back to yet another political episode. So, today is Big Beautiful Bill Day, and the Big Beautiful Bill in which it was officially passed in the House of Representatives and in the Senate, officially by Congress as a whole. It will now be at the president's desk to sign tomorrow on Independence Day. It's a very, very special moment, even though I have questions myself about this bill. This bill is really, how do I say it? I don't know. I don't really have a real position whether I'm for it or against it. I think it's President Trump's bill. I'm willing to give it a shot. I have questions about it. Whether it's going to raise the deficit and add to inflation is questionary. It's questionable. The liberal media is going to be touting this. We've seen this. This is all they've been talking about is inflation. This is going to add to inflation. This is what the liberal media suddenly cares about inflation, while they had 4 years to care about it. But they decide to care about inflation right now. But the truth is there is I want to believe some economists and experts, they came out and saying that there's a chance that the of course, the work put into this bill would help prevent the said added to inflation. It's hard to explain for me, but I have faith. And I'm not taking an official stance. Just because this is Trump's bill, I'm not going to run around saying, this bill's going to be the best. While, honestly, you have MAGA Republican senators like Josh Hawley, who came out against this bill and voted for it, ultimately. I don't know how he changed his mind so fast, but he was committed to vote against it, mostly because of the questions about the health care. And of course, the liberals are spreading misinformation by the fact that this is going to strip thousands off of health care. Well, didn't add the other part to that statement, we are stripping thousands of illegal aliens from this said from healthcare benefits. And obviously, critics of this bill who come from the right will say, oh, it's not cutting enough. We're not taking enough illegal aliens out. We need more. And the deal is, yes, there is the controversy. Politicians, they can't cut everything. And we know that's just how politics is. So we got Trump's the tax cuts are added into this bill. We have the Doge cut, not all the Doge cuts, but some of them are added into this bill. But also the said Jobs Act, Tax Cuts and Jobs Acts. But ultimately, this bill was passed before the deadline, which was amazing. They told us that the bill wouldn't be drafted before Memorial Day, and it did, because that was the deadline there. And now the deadline is July 4th, and we made it just one day before July 4th even starts. Actually, I think it's July 4th officially in the East Coast right now. So we got more than enough to officially say that, yes, President Trump and the Republican Congress, we have met our goals. But obviously, we got to look at what the liberal media thinks about this bill, because obviously they're not so happy about this bill. And the funny thing is, you have people like AOC. You have people like Hakeem Jeffries. Hakeem Jeffries blew it today. He did an 8-hour long ramble, just like his friend and colleague, Senator Cory Booker, who this time, I'm going to be quite honest, discount Obama was much better than compared to Cory Booker. While New Jersey discount Obama did a big ramble about Trump for 25 hours. A lot of liberals say, that's amazing! Well, it just puts a microscope on and just puts you mask off Trump derangement, and just for the whole world to see how bad and how mentally deranged you are when it comes to one man, and how one man can evolve around one day. Imagine talking about one guy for one day, one man for 25 hours. That's mental illness. But Discount Obama did a similar talk about why this bill bad, and he just convinced a bunch of Republicans to just vote for it. He's saying that this is so bad that this bill is securing the border and funding ICE scary, more mass deportations, things that the American people want. And you got President Vance, Vice President Vance, maybe in the future, but Vice President Vance touting the tweet saying that he received a Republican congressman's text saying that, yeah, I just changed my mind from being undecided to actually now voting for this. I actually like what I'm hearing from Cory Booker. So Cory Booker just completely sank the ship of opposition to the said bill, including a lot of Republicans, and it passed. And Democrats and opponents of this bill have no one else to blame but the Senate Minority Leader. There's absolutely no reason why, there's no coincidence why he's called Discount Obama, because he says such a huge discount. Democrats have no one actually talented to fly around. But yes, Discount Obama went and tanked the whole opposition of this bill. Now this bill is on the president's desk. It will be signed tomorrow on Independence Day. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Then again, I'm not necessarily the biggest supporter of this bill. I have questions. I would be open-minded to it failing, honestly. Maybe because I've listened to both sides. Because you can't necessarily go around saying this bill is so amazing when you have Republican congressmen, the biggest Trump supporters in Congress, like Senator Hawley, coming out and saying, you know what, this is not necessarily the best bill. And sure, it's liberal. You could throw liberals' arguments and throw them into the gutter, because their arguments they're just biased and they are nonsensical. But you have someone who is a respectable MAGA senator, then you got to take that person seriously. If he's saying, okay, I think there's problems, so saying, oh, now you're being a rhino. No, that's not how you do things. If you have MAGA people coming out against this bill, then there probably is something legitimately wrong. And in their criticisms, there has been, like Tim Sheehy was against this bill. I was not a fan of that, about the national monuments, the fact that this bill would take out some public lands. I felt that was inflammatory. I felt like, you know what, I can't support a bill that does that. So I do applaud people like Tim Sheehy who voted against it. He's not a rhino. That is legitimate, because Montana is a state that is proud about its national monuments. You also have other people in general. You had Joe Rogan coming out against this bill because of the national monument, what it would do with national monuments. And thankfully it was taken out, because I think that with that alone, it would have sunk the whole bill. It's important to listen to the American people on this. 80%, overwhelming majority, 80-90% of Americans believe federal government needs to step away from their public lands. We need to listen to them when it comes to that. So absolutely, I was critical of that. I had a problem with that. But there's also things I absolutely love about this bill. The fact that we are finally stepping up to this concentration camp, as the left likes to use, Planned Parenthood, which murders millions and millions and millions of babies every single year. And we're saying no more funds for you. Now the left has turned that around, and they've said, oh, they're stripping away our health care. They're taking away healthcare benefits, funds to healthcare. What they mean by that is we're taking away funds from Planned Parenthood, which, I'm sorry, they have had enough. They have had like 50, 40 30 years of funding, constant funding from the federal government. It's time for that to stop. If you want an abortion, get it yourself. Pay for it yourself. We ain't paying for your silly abortion. So I absolutely take a victory lap over this. And the fact that America, I don't know if, unless I'm misunderstanding something, I can't say for sure, take a victory lap about our tax dollars going to abortions. Maybe there's some catch to it, but I say this is a big move in the right direction by stepping up to Planned Parenthood's level, putting them in their place. But there's also officially making it illegal for minors to get transgender surgeries, which is absolutely good, because I'm sorry, when your little Jimmy's 8 years old, little Jimmy's brain isn't fundamentally developed yet to make that very, 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 very serious decision. Do I want to go to surgery? Do I want to permanently change my body, change my genitalia, and which would ultimately receive surgical care, which is not care at all, which would impact me and my health in the future? Does 8-year-old little Jimmy, does it make sense for 8-year-old little Jimmy to make that life-changing decision and have parents, forcing parents to take a step back? No, step away, parents. Don't tell little Jimmy no. Let little Jimmy make this decision. No, I'm sorry. Children at 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, even in teenagers, they don't get to make that decision. They shouldn't. Because honestly, why do you care? Why do you care so much about these people? Because they're the American people. They're a part of the American people. And would you have a problem of, let's just say, here's a better question. Why do you care about illegal aliens being put in a prison in the wildlife called Alligator Alcatraz? Why do you care about that so much? So what? They're wild animals outside. It's not like they're going to be we're feeding them to the snakes. Come on. But for these leftists, it's so inhumane for these illegal aliens to be put in a prison facility that's located in the wildlife in the Florida Everglades. It's so inhumane because there's snakes and there are alligators outside and they are separated by the walls. Jeez Louise. This is absolute, they want to make politics over that. And I'm like, really? So if you guys are concerned about the illegal aliens being put there, so why can't we be concerned about our kids, the American kids, getting these surgeries with not full developed consent and understanding what's going to happen? So absolutely. You see the status quo here. So I absolutely, in some parts of this bill, I'm open-minded, but we got to remember that this bill could become a Affordable Care Act or a possible Obamacare 2.0, because you know how the Obamacare turned out for Democrats. Oh boy, it did not go so well. Democrats want to fly around Obamacare. They continue to do it to this day because they know how bad it hurts them. The Affordable Care Act is one of the most devastating, most destructive acts of Congress ever passed into law. Most destructive. I mean, how many Democrats have left the Democratic Party because of that? I think that alone just gave Republicans 2014 handingly. And now you have, of course, President Trump in Iowa celebrating that big, beautiful bill. So it says President Trump on Thursday. visited Iowa to kick off a year-long celebration of the 250th anniversary of the country's founding at the event that doubled as a victory lap for the passage of a major legislative package. Okay, so this was, of course, today. Trump was in Iowa, and he has a lot to do tomorrow. He has to go back to Washington to sign that into law. But of course, that is a good and major accomplishment, a huge win for him. Also, this is one of his biggest wins. Yes, we passed President Trump's, a lot of this is passing President Trump's promises. No tax on tips. Standing up for the working class, which Democrats seem to care about so much, right? Middle class, working class. I am a part of the working class, middle class. My father is a worker. He is a blue collar worker. I am a middle class American who lives in the Minneapolis, West St. Paul, west of the suburbs of Minneapolis, St. Paul. So obviously this benefits me, my family a lot. And obviously, what we do understand that this is going to have a lot of impacts. We know because of course, the inflation, the threats of inflation. You also have the threat of the deficit. Now, if this goes 2 years later, there's no inflation from this. This is a huge win for President Trump. Huge win. This probably does a lot of reversals from the long time in crisis. This officially ends this crisis in this period of uncertainty and disarray from American people. This actually will make it very better. We're starting from the midterms. I think Greg Foreman's right about this. People are going to start feeling a lot better because by that time, you're going to feel the effects of the tax cuts. You're going to be feeling the effects from the Doge cuts also. You're going to notice that, yes, prices are going to go down. You're going to have relief. So it's the Democrats, they want to go around saying, Americans are hurting! Yeah, because this is still Biden economy. I mean, seriously. Yes, we got a good jobs report today. That was a Trump thing, right? That was Trump. Democrats don't want to talk about it, though. Now, if Biden was still in there, I could guarantee you. And, I mean, let's be honest. Jobs would still be high because of the fake jobs created by illegal aliens. But I'm talking about inflation would still be out of control, along with the said the inflation and gas prices, etc. That's what would be happening. So obviously, President Trump saying that the economy will rocket after the signing of the big beautiful bill. A lot of Americans are not certain about that though. Then again, I think this is something that we're going to have to step back, wait and see. I think this is also a huge win for Mike Johnson, who has repaired the damage he has caused in his respect from the MAGA movement. It was mainly that last year, then like December, end of the year shenanigan thing about passing reverting the government shutdown, trying to intervene before a government shutdown. I've talked about it. The fact that these Republicans decided to put everything on the last minute, and now they have to get the deadline done before the government shuts down. And he did it, but he got a lot of backlash from it. Now, Johnson reverting everyone, and of course, he earned a lot of respect. And I respect him for it. I think he is a very, very good House Speaker under a Trump presidency, under a Republican. Like Trump is putting him in place. I know Mike Johnson, he knows that Trump's the big man. He wants to please the big man, the big guy. He wants to please MAGA, and he knows this is the way to go. And I can see he's trying, so I applaud him with that. I also applaud John Thune. We got a lot of people don't like the guy. He's trying. He hasn't voted against one of Trump's agendas. Never. And I think that's huge compared to the history we had with Mitch McConnell. Like, come on. That is huge compared to what we had with Mitch McConnell. Majority Leader Mitch McConnell voted against everything Donald Trump did. Now, if we finally have a Senate Majority Leader that's actually working, now, a lot of people don't trust him yet. And who knows, he could backflop. But it seems right now that Trump and Thune, we see them together. Thune sometimes joins Trump at the baseball games, and along with Mike Johnson. So I think they're well committed. So I think we'll give credit for what credit's due. So this was a huge win for Republicans, despite the misinformation campaigns by Democrats, and of course the efforts of a Republican civil war erupting. Elon Musk, of course, trying to take out this bill, thinking that he's probably the smartest guy because he knows how to fly a rocket in the air correctly. Therefore, he must know if the consequences of this bill. I'm not so sure. We also trust Secretary Scott Bessent. I want to believe, Scott Bessent, and his analysis on this bill. He's been 100% correct on everything with the tariffs. He's been making these rounds on MSNBC, CNN especially, saying they're arguing, they're cause inflation, tariffs across the board. It's going to destroy the economy. And this Scott Bassett just sits there and just calmly just teaches them, schools them on basic economics. And he's right. And they're scratching their heads. Where's the recession at start? And then maybe it will. But I think right now, I don't want to jinx it. I don't like jinxing things. And usually when I say something, it jinxes. But what it's looking like right now, everyone's so surprised. Major economics and market predictors that have criticized Trump for destroying the economy are now turning around. They're saying Trump's a genius for what he's trying to do here. He had us all fooled because you are fools. You guys don't know. You guys listen to the liberal quackers who does nothing but talks up big game. But anyway, I think this is a big win for President Trump. I'm looking forward to my favorite holiday of the year, the 4th of July, Independence Day, the very first Independence Day under the new Trump administration. America is finally back. No more sleepy Joe Biden, no more sleepy America. America is finally emboldened. America is finally awake. America is now standing up against the world, to our enemies like Iran, and even to our allies, which has been mistreating us like Canada and NATO. So what do you guys think in regards to this video? Let me know down below. And as always, I'll see you all in the next political episode.